Hello everyone, this is Martina from foodisyourmedicine.net. I'm a holistic nutritionist, and today in this video we are going to talk about stress, and in particular about the topic what stress causes in our body, what kind of reactions are happening in the body once we are chronically stressed, and what to do about it pretty much. So that's the topic for today's video. And first of all, let me tell you, not all stress is bad. Stress turns on our basic instincts for survival. So the short-term stress, in order to save our lives, is definitely beneficial, and it's really what I just said. It's saving our life, and that's all good. That's what we need. The issue becomes when the stress becomes a chronic disease, let's put it, or chronic state of being, perhaps would be the better term to explain it. And that has a great burden on our physicality, on our body, on the biochemical processes within. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about. And that is the stress which we do not want to have over a long period of time. I mean, we live in a very fast-paced world. We all have been stressed at some point in our life. I don't know anybody who has not been, including myself. I mean, one can say it's nearly unavoidable to be stressed over a longer period of time. But what to do about it? Now, when I say stress, I do mean emotional stress. And that can be caused by multiple things. Usually the most common one is work overload, having too many responsibilities all together in our life. Work, family, perhaps elder parents who need our assistance. So it can have multiple factors why we feel overloaded with life as such. And that can cause us definitely a stress. It's the most common thing when I see in my environment. The second thing is financial worries and existential struggles. When we do not have an environment in our life which is providing us safety and security, and that is being also environment as such outside, that there is a quiet and peace outside when I walk out of the door, as well as the basic needs for living, having the roof above my head, having the food on the plate, being warm, having water. And if this is compromised in one way or another, or not available to us one way or another, that is causing the great stress on everybody, pretty much, no matter what. That can be understood. Now, third point, which comes most common, is grief, loss. When we lost someone, then we feel grief, and it's absolutely appropriate to grieve for a certain period of time. And yeah, that is causing a stress too, or divorce or a separation of one way or another. That's typical that we feel stressed in this kind of tough life situations. Many times single parents are very overloaded and feel burdened really with the way of life, having to go to work to provide for the children, having to take care of the children, prepare them for the school, then the entire household comes to the picture too. And so the single parents many times do feel very stressed and chronically stressed over many years even. The younger generation can feel stressed when they have upcoming exams coming up, or the young children when they feel uncomfortable in the school, when they are faced with mobbing. This is having on the young kids especially tough pressure. They do feel stressed, they sleep badly, etc. etc. So these are the most common life situations, let's say, which cause us to feel chronically under pressure and chronically stressed. Now, how does it look like then when we are chronically stressed? What is happening in our environment? And the first thing which we usually see is the sleep distortions, and that we do not get enough sleep. We have difficulties to sleep. Either we fall asleep and then wake up in the middle of the night staring into the ceiling and cannot fall asleep again any longer, or we cannot fall asleep in the first place, and they are awake until 2, 3 a.m. and then eventually we will fall asleep, but will not wake up rested, will not wake up fine, pretty much, and ready for the next day to be able to cope with all the other circumstances which are coming to us, being in a family, being in a work, being in school, no matter what it comes. And that is most probably the most difficult thing and the first thing which we need to fix if we are feeling chronically stressed over a long period of time. Now, we can feel the stress can show itself as we feel depressed, we feel anxiety, we have panic attacks, we cannot breathe, we cannot catch breath, we have chronic headaches, we are fatigued, apathetic, we refrain from social communities, we don't want to see our friends, we don't want to call anyone, we don't want to talk to anyone, we just want to be at home within ourselves. We tend to fall into the depression or reach out to substances just to forget just to reach out to substances so they can either calm us down or they can help us they give us a feeling that we are able to cope with that, or they make us forget, but that is definitely not the right way how to cope with stress, and the chronic stress in particular. We may have digestive issues, either bloating or constipation, diarrhea. People do have lack of appetite, which is they cannot eat anything really, or the other way, they binge eating quite a lot, and the people crave sugar in particular, and that is connected to the cortisol levels. Basically, when we are stressed over a long period of time, the cortisol levels in the body spike, and the cortisol suppresses the insulin production, and hence we can have more feeling for the sweet and sugar cravings, especially in the afternoon. And at the same time, we do have a higher blood pressure, sugar, I wanted to say, which again is increasing the risk for diabetes. We have higher blood pressure. Our heart is beating faster, we can't concentrate, we just lack the concentration. We are more prone to the car accidents or accidents in general, but definitely what is happening during the chronic stress. We can have also nightmares. Yeah, I think that would be about it. Now, eventually, if we are not dealing with that, it will end up in the burnout, because the body can take only as much, and the chronic stress is basically influencing us on the emotional level, and it's being expressed through the physical symptoms. Because when we are emotionally pressured, and whatever emotion is not released or dealt with will eventually, no matter what time, someone sooner, at someone later, will affect some function in our body or some organ. That is why it's so important that we deal with the stress quite in the beginning, once we recognize that we are chronically stressed over a long period of time. The people who are experiencing this chronic stress, now, what does it really mean when I say, yes, the emotions are reflected in the physical body, and how are they reflected? When we feel emotionally stressed, it causes acidity in the body. So even if we try to eat alkaline foods, such as fresh vegetables, steamed vegetables, healthy stuff, no matter what, if we are feeling stressed, it does cause acidity in the body. For body to be able to function properly, we need majority of the organs, every need alkaline environment, with exception perhaps of stomach, obviously, gut, and some other. In women, it's the reproductive system needs slightly acidic environment, but otherwise all organs need alkaline environment. In the acidic environment, body is much more prone to free radicals and illness eventually. Long-term stress compromises the gut microbiome heavily, and it stimulates dysbiosis, which means that the bad bacteria which we have in gut are getting multiplied in much faster pace and much faster rate than the healthy bacteria. And eventually, since 70%, 75% of our immune system is in the gut, we tend to be sick more often. And it is very common that people that are chronically stressed over a long period of time are often sick. I've seen it so many times, I can't even count how many times people under chronic stress, which have lasted years, have been on the sick leave 3 times a year. It's quite normal because the body cannot cope with that. Body doesn't have the mechanism to deal with that if the emotional part of the stress and the burden isn't being taken care of. So it compromises the immune system heavily if we feel stressed for a long period of time. Now we tend to have the tension in the muscle, and our heart rate is increasing always when we feel chronic stress. We do not even realize that our heart is beating faster, but it's definitely so. If you pay attention, it's definitely faster than when you're not stressed. It causes the most important negative thing, and that is oxidative stress, which again influence the immune system, influence the ability of free radicals to impact the body, which is definitely not what we want. It negatively influences our bone health, and we are more prone, as I have said, to accident and possible fracture. All the chronic issues which we might have, such as asthma, intolerances or allergies, other allergies, food allergies, or GI tract issues, they all get worse when we are chronically stressed, all of them. Now, and the most importantly, it causes us depletion, and many times severe depletion, from some vital minerals and the vitamins. Most importantly, it's being folate, which is a B9 vitamin, vitamin B5, and the other one is important, magnesium. So these are getting very fast depleted during the long period of stress. Our body uses all these 3 compounds to be able to cope with that. And at the same time, when we have GI issues, when we have eating issues, for example, that we lack appetite, or we crave heavier foods, and we do not eat enough fresh vegetables or the fresh produce, then even more we are getting depleted out of these vital compounds which help us and help body internally on the biochemical level to finally get the balanced state, which, when we are not doing anything about the emotional part of it, will not be possible that fast or at all. Now, when I said B5, magnesium and folate, let's talk about where exactly this can be found in the food. B5, sunflower seeds are especially rich in B5 vitamin. There are nuts which are rich in B5, as well as eggs and fish. Just please pay attention to the quality of the produce you use, free-range eggs, and preferably wild-caught fish, not farming. And so magnesium, especially rich, are sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and cocoa powder, cocoa beans. Furthermore, it's sesame seeds, cashew nuts, almonds, but also poppy seeds, amaranth, quinoa, as well as nettle. All these are very good sources for magnesium. Just sprinkle a little bit of nuts or poppy seeds into your cereal, or crushed nuts for the above your salad, just to get a little bit of good valuable source of magnesium. For the folate, all dark leafy greens do have folate. Whether it's spinach, arugula, bok choy, kale, even broccoli, they are all, you can't go wrong. I mean, they all, the darker, the more folate. But please don't get confused between folate and folic acid. The difference. Folate is natural form of B9 vitamin, natural one. It has much higher bioavailability for us in the body, meaning that our body can produce and process the natural folate, B9, natural form of B9 folate much better and absorb much better and much more of it than the folic acid, which is synthetic form. And that is a great difference in bioavailability and how much our body can absorb of these particular compounds. So that is something which you may be thinking of including if you are dealing with if you're facing the tough situation and you do feel stress. Now, when we are talking about work overload, for example, or exam, these might not last forever. And they never last forever. Exam, it's one-time thing, and then it's over usually. But when we are talking about the grief, loss, divorce, separation of some sort, or financial worries and existential struggles, these usually take some time to get processed and to be processed really by people, by anyone. And that is the time to think about the proper food. That's when the proper appropriate stress management comes into the picture and comes into the place. Now, first of all, we just need to fix the sleep. Sleep is so important to be able to cope with the stress. Possibly the most important out of all the things which I'm going to say is fixing the sleep. And then, even though this might be also the most difficult one to be able to resolve. Now, what you might want to do, go like sleep in a dark room, really dark, cool, well-aired room. Open the window during the evening, let a cool, fresh breeze come in, and then sleep in the dark, cool temperature. It definitely does stimulate better sleep. You may be listening to relaxing music. You may be having relaxing bath, do the candles. Meditation seems to be incredibly helpful before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, just to meditate a little bit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just to help to calm your mind, focus on breath, and do not let your mind wander away, because that's usually what happens if you are not used to meditation. That's what happens. It happens to me too, having difficulties to stay focused on the breath. But it just needs practice. But it's worthy. It's definitely worthy. What meditation does, it does decrease the blood pressure. It does decrease the heart rate, so you don't feel so speedy, if you will. It does help to calm the mind. And it's just great practice to incorporate. You just give it a try. There is nothing to lose. Just give it a try. Now we need to increase the darkness is important for the melatonin production, and for which sets the body to the mood that now we are going to go to sleep. The increased production of the melatonin, which happens after the dark, when there's outside dark. And so that's why it's important to sleep in a dark room. I would strongly discourage everyone in this particular case to stimulate or enhance sleep through supplements of the sleeping pill or even melatonin. Please don't do that. You enter only vicious cycle, which is very difficult to escape. Even after sleeping pills, you may be sleeping for like 7-8 hours without a break, but you don't wake up rested. Your mind is not rested. Your mind is numbed, but not rested. I will strongly discourage for this particular case, when you feel stressed and can't sleep, to reach out for the supplements to help you with that. That is definitely not the way. That is definitely not the solution. Now, I've mentioned magnesium, and also it's important during the sleep. Not only does the entire body gets depleted quite heavily during the long period of time of stress, but magnesium is very needed for sleep. When we have sleep distortions, whatever, I mean, it doesn't need to be during the chronic period of stress. But when we do have sleep distortions from without any reason, there might be a good chance that you're low in magnesium and you need to boost it a little bit. At the same time, magnesium helps to relax the muscles. When we are in the chronic stress, our muscles are tense because obviously we are setting ourselves to the fight or flight mode, which makes the all muscles to ready to fight and fight. Basically, that's what it is. And magnesium helps to relax all the muscles, helps to calm down the heartbeat and the blood pressure, and that stimulates again the calmness of the before you go to sleep. So magnesium extremely important as well. Another thing is you want to either want to go sleep a little bit hungry, but what you definitely want to avoid are heavy meals in the evening. The last meal is supposed to be at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. Definitely no caffeine, definitely no alcohol, which only stimulates the body to be more active rather than to be preparing it for the calm period of the day, which is the night. Well, that's definitely what you want to avoid. So sleep management and managing to get more sleep is most probably the most important thing which will help us and needs to be resolved when we are under chronic stress. The second most important thing is physical activity. It has been proven by so many studies that only 30 minutes of physical activity daily significantly reduces the stress hormones. 30 minutes, half an hour. And it doesn't matter what it is for you, which you enjoy. Just do something which you enjoy. Is it the fast walk? Is it the running? Is it swimming, biking, weightlifting, yoga, whatever it is? Just find the one thing for you which works for you. And for at least 30 minutes every day, try to get some physical activity. If you do it on the fresh air, it only stimulates all the beneficial processes which are really happening within the body once you start exercise. It will help you to calm your mind. It will help you to focus more attention to different direction, or rather than to really to stay with the point what is causing your stress as such. So second would be moderate or appropriate rather physical activity every single day, at least for half an hour. We just found very usual or very beneficial for my client when they go after the dinner, when they go for a long walk, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, and regardless of the weather outside, just go at least for 30 minutes for a walk during after the dinner. And it really helps the metabolic rate to increase and helps to the food to move through your tract, through the gut. But it's also the fresh air helps to calm the mind quite a bit. So that would be the second thing. Third one would be nature. 20 minutes in the nature. It's just can make a miracle. And if it's park in the city, if it's walk around the lake or walk along the river, if you can go to forest or whatever it is that is available to you at hand, that you are able to do every day, at least 20 minutes, will help you to decrease the stress. That I can't even count how many studies have confirmed that, what kind of nature, what kind of impact has nature on our physicality, on our well-being. Please make it routine. Do not skip it if it's bad weather. Do not skip it. Just make it routine and make the promise to yourself that you want to get better, you want to feel better in your skin, you want to process all whatever it is, and the nature will help you in that. Just make the commitment to yourself for at least 20 minutes a day. So that would be most probably the third one, I guess. Yeah, third one. And the fourth one would be meditation. I have mentioned it already earlier before for the lack of sleep, that it helps to meditate, and it really does. For some people may be very difficult to meditate. They can even ease the mind, calm the mind, and it does take practice. I won't gonna lie, it does take practice, especially if you have not meditated ever before. It does take some effort in the beginning to be able to focus on the breath and keep really conscious focus on the mind, not to be wandering away somewhere to issues or to responsibilities or to the plan for tomorrow or what have you is on your mind or is bothering you. It does take practice. It does need a little bit of more time if you are not used to it, but it's definitely worth of trying. And if you can't calm your mind, then do something else. For somebody's meditation can switch off, quote unquote, the mind during sports, during cooking, during cleaning. If this is your way how to stop thinking about the worries or the pain and the grief or about the work or whatever is stressing you, well done. Then do that. It's probably not going to clean the whole house every day, from the ceiling to the roof, from the roof to the bottom. It might be then the walk instead. But all of these remedies, if you will, for the stress management, just pick at least 3, which will help you to resolve it and be able, perhaps not even resolve it, but be able to cope with everything better. And the time is always on our hand in terms of nothing lasts forever. I say nothing lasts forever, and we all have tough times in our lives, and we all just need to find the way how to cope with it. And we absolutely can. We just need to find the right thing for us. And so if you are also someone who feels very stressed from whatsoever reason in your life and tough situations in your life, you might be willing to give it a try to all the points I've mentioned today, and I hope it will help you. And please pay attention. Do not forget, magnesium, B5, and folate are the most important vitamins and minerals to be able to cope better on the physical level with the stress and stay away from unnecessary supplements. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider subscribing and liking, and as well sharing for anybody who might find this helpful. And so thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.